They all disappeared when I couldn't give anymore. Not when I became rude. Not when I betrayed anyone. Not when I changed. No. They left when life humbled me. And that's when I saw it. Who was there for the moments? And who was there for me? Let me tell you my story. My name is Amanda. I'm 33 years old. I live in a small 2-bedroom flat with my 4-year-old son Timmy. But years ago things were very different. Back then I had a high-paying job in one of the top banks in Chicago. I was sharp, fast-talking, and always dressed in heels that clicked powerfully on marble floors. I drove a red Toyota Corolla. It wasn't brand new, but it was mine. I had friends, or what I thought were friends. We were 5 women in our group. Me, Sarah, Kim, Laura, and Becca. They were always in my house. Eating my food, using my Wi-Fi, watching my Netflix, even borrowing my clothes. But I didn't mind. I loved company. I loved taking care of people. I loved the feeling of being useful, of being the one everyone could rely on. I didn't know I was training them how to treat me. Everything changed when I got pregnant. It wasn't planned. I was in love, or at least I thought I was. His name was Ryan. Charming. Soft-spoken. The kind of man that made promises with the kind of voice that made you believe them. He said he was ready. He said we would raise our child together. But when I told him I was pregnant, he said nothing. For almost a minute he just stared at me. Then he stood up and walked out of my apartment. He never came back. No call. No text. Nothing. I was 29. Alone. Pregnant. And scared. First my friends showed up. They came with food, clothes, jokes, especially Sarah. She said, "Don't worry girl, men are trash anyway. We've got you." I believed them. I leaned on them. But over the months things changed. Sarah stopped coming. She said she was busy with work. Kim came around once in a while, usually when she needed money. Laura only called when she had gossip, not to check on me. And Becca, she moved and never returned my calls. I didn't know what I had done wrong. But the truth is, I had nothing to offer anymore. No rides, no restaurant bills, no fun conversations, just swollen feet, a baby bump, and quiet pain. When Timmy was born, it was the happiest and loneliest day of my life. I held him in my arms and I cried. Not because of the pain, not because I was scared, but because I realized something. I was doing this alone. And yet I was ready. I named him Timothy, honoring God. Because truly that's all I had left. I lost my job 3 months later. My maternity leave ended, but I had no one to help me care for Timmy. Daycares were too expensive. Nannies. Risky. I missed a few deadlines. My boss said I was no longer the sharp Amanda they hired. So they let me go. Just like that. Packed my desk. No one hugged me. No goodbye party. Just silence and a signed HR letter. I went home that day with my baby strapped to my chest, and I sat on the floor of my living room. Empty fridge, unpaid bills, and I cried like a child. That's when depression came. Not the loud kind. Quiet one. The one where you wake up, sit on your bed, and wonder what day it is. The kind where you forget to eat. The kind where your phone is always on silent. And yet it never rings. Sarah didn't check in. Kim blocked me when I asked for help. Laura sent a voice note that said, "I'm sorry you're going through this, but I can't kill myself for you." I never listened to it twice. But you know what saved me? Timmy's laugh. One morning I was in the kitchen, boiling rice I wasn't even sure would be enough. And Timmy, just 10 months old, stood on wobbly legs by the doorframe and laughed. For no reason. He laughed like the world was perfect. That laugh did something to me. It reminded me, I was still alive. And if I was alive, then I wasn't done. I started baking. Nothing serious, just small cupcakes with whatever I had. Then I posted one picture on Facebook. One person ordered. Then 2. I started taking the baby on my back and delivering cupcakes on foot. Under the sun. In the snow. With worn-out sneakers and a scarf to hide my tired face. But slowly, it grew. A neighbor paid for a banner. Someone else gave me a used oven. One aunt started sharing my posts online. I called my small hustle Timmy's Treats. Because even if the world forgot me, my son never did. Years passed. I built my business quietly. I still didn't go out much. No more girls' hangouts. No more weddings. No more big events. I stayed in my lane. But something interesting happened one Saturday morning. Sarah showed up at my door. She was wearing a head wrap and holding a phone. Amanda. Girl, I saw your cake on Instagram. You're doing big things. I didn't even know it was you. Smiled. Not because I was happy, but because I wasn't angry. I had healed. They all came back eventually. Laura called to catch up. Kim sent a text asking if I needed investors. Even Becca, who once ignored all my messages, reposted one of my flyers. But I didn't feel the need to update them on my life. I wasn't bitter. I just wasn't the same person. You see, pain can break you. But if you survive it, it will rebuild you into someone stronger, someone wiser, someone quieter. Today, I own a small bakery with 3 staff. I still live in my humble flat. Timmy is in school now. Smart, funny, full of life. I still remember those nights I wanted to give up. I remember breastfeeding with tears running down my face. I remember feeling forgotten. But I also remember rising, alone, with nothing but faith, and the laugh of a child. So if you're listening to this, and you feel like no one's checking on you, if the friends who once praised you have now disappeared, if you feel tired, alone, stretched, like motherhood has robbed you of yourself, I want you to remember this. You are not invisible. You are not weak. And your story is not over. They said I was strong. Until I became quiet. Until I stopped picking their calls. Until I chose peace over popularity. I'm still strong. Just no longer for everybody. And that, my dear listener, is not a loss. It's a blessing.